Time for a fan favorite here at Games for Change. The Well Played series was developed by Carnegie Mellon University's ETC program, and it takes experts from the office chair to the gaming chair to discuss a game as they play it, making for a truly candid and spontaneous experience. So in this next presentation, Associate Professor at Parsons School of Design, you might have seen her earlier in the day or yesterday, another fan favorite, Colleen Macklin, will take us on a playful journey through the game I Was a Teenage Exo-Colonist. Please welcome Colleen.
All right, that was a lie. Susanna just gave you a lie, because I will tell you one thing: I cannot talk and play at the same time. It's just not something I'm able to do. Celia Hodent could probably tell you that we have one, I don't know what to call it, a channel in our brain that processes language. And the thing about I Was a Teenage Exo-Colonist is that there's a lot of language in this game. It's a narrative RPG with a deck building component, with a time loop twist. I don't want to say much more, but there's no way I can talk and you can read and listen to me, and so I'm not doing that. Hi, I'm Solon. I'm not Colleen Macklin. I go by they, them pronouns, and this is me at 9. Here are my parents. There are colonies, primary botanists, farmers, basically. And these are my best friends, Nem and Cal. And we live on Vertumna, a planet that we reached through a wormhole. And it can be both beautiful and a very terrifying place to live. But through it all, my crew of friends were there. We grew up together through awkward adolescence to super stylish teen hotties. You might be here to hear my life story as a newcomer on a strange planet, and tales of conquest and how we survived through these challenges. If my life were a video game, I would need to give a spoiler alert right now, because obviously I'm no longer a teenager. But wait a minute. My life is a video game. All right, I'm Colleen Macklin, actually. I Was a Teenage Colonist is a narrative RPG game with a deck building component set on this amazing planet, Vertumna, which you've probably heard about. And in this game, you basically navigate through life's challenges as someone between the ages of 10 to 20, so it's 10 years in the life of. It's a coming of age story. I mean, who doesn't love a coming of age story? And part of the aspect of this game is that you develop relationships with your friends over time. It really does feel like an autonomous world where everyone has their own lives going on while yours is going on too. It's not as if you have these sort of NPCs that are there to just please you. They may not. They may actually decide against something, and they may not give you information that's reliable, which is something that we don't oftentimes encounter with games. And this is the deck building component. Interestingly enough, each of these cards is a memory. It's something I have experienced in this game growing up. And you use these cards, Celia had you do some math. You use these cards to add up to a final score. There's certain rewards if you exceed that score. There's rewards for sort of precision. There's collectibles and power-ups, and this is an early part of the game. So you're seeing some of my early memories here. First steps or being a little kid. And each challenge you face is met with this sort of deck building piece. Now, how do you think, so how many of you love deck building games or have, yeah, right? Okay, it's probably the best game mechanic ever designed, I think. You know, they're addictive, they're really fun because you're both collecting and you're also really strategizing. And one of the things about this game is that as the cards represent your memories, another thing about deck building, right, is that you can load up your deck with cards that over time are no longer valuable to you, right? They don't work anymore, really. So how do you get rid of these cards? If the cards are based on your memories, let's take a guess. You drink. That's one way. You forget, right? So there's ways to also forget things that happen to you in this game. But there's also really incredible sort of flash forwards, flashbacks that give you clues to possible paths and lives that you might lead. How many of you have played this game? Okay, cool. I might ask something of you a little later. We'll see if we've got time. So get ready. So there's narrative choice-based RPGs. So as you see here, you get a dialogue choice. One of the choices is fairly risky. This is Dis, D-Y-S, perhaps my favorite character in the game. And I won't tell you what happens if you dare Dis to kiss you on the lips. You can find out for yourself. And then the other element that actually changes your trajectory are these sort of deck building mechanics that you're playing throughout the game. But you know what's cool? As a game designer, I'm in awe of this game because you can succeed at all of these challenges, but then you quickly realize that actually you must fail in order to uncover some of the mysteries of this place and actually aspects of your personality. So this is a game that fully embraces failure and in all of its capacities. Here's some of my deck. So you can see that they're all kind of based on something that happened. And you receive these cards after you make certain events happen in the game. It gives you a lot of options to develop skills and capacities in a variety of fields. You can, you can go to school and study humanities or science, engineering, medicine. You can teach yourself how to play an instrument. The music in this game is incredible, and one thing I regret is not having some of the music here. But this is a finalist in Best Gameplay for Games for Change. We'll find out tonight what the awards might be, but I highly recommend that you check it out. I chose Expeditions, which is this element, and the designer of the game, Sarah Northway, really sums it up. It's not just about picking one path, like let's say I just want to go all in on engineering and become an incredible engineer. It's actually about discovering all the different paths and ways to grow up on a strange and dangerous alien planet. Kind of sounds like real life. So, there are romance opportunities in this game. This is maybe one of the best dressed players, non-player characters in the game, Rex. And one thing I'll say about each of the characters, these are teens that you grow up with. This is, as soon as you turn, get into your late teens and early 20s, people start to kind of develop. And, there's different seasons. This is the hot season where, Rex doesn't really need to wear a shirt exactly, or I don't know quite what that is, but it's a really cool outfit. And some elements you can see here aren't available to me because I don't have the sort of social skills or bravery. I think this is a bravery component available. So this game actually really encourages replay. There are apparently over 50 endings. There's 1,000 events in this game. I have honestly never seen such a staggering achievement in narrative game design in my life. I think it's probably, it didn't get the kind of acclaim and attention it was due in 2022 when it came out. And I think it should get even more. And, you know, romancing opportunities. So there are these exciting and scary moments in the game, but that's not actually what it's fully about, because just being a teenager is exciting and scary. But of course, being an exocolonist, being on this planet, you encounter all kinds of different creatures. As I said, I won't tell you any very important turning moments in the game, but I will say that it is a decolonial colonizing game. So it really asks you to question what it means to go to a place for your own survival and also take up space in that world. And it gives you a lot of choices between man versus nature versus themselves, et cetera, some of those classic sort of story tropes. There's plenty of teen angst in this game. Some of my favorite moments are just the quieter moments where you just sit with your friends and contemplate what it's like to be a teenager. And I was really impressed with the nuance that it brought to relationships. It's not just a straightforward, like, say all the right things and then you get to kiss the character or date the character. One of the cool things about this game is actually all of the characters are dateable if they are not in a monogamous relationship, and oftentimes the characters will pair up and you won't have that opportunity. Some of the characters are polyamorous, so you would have an opportunity to date with them, but it doesn't matter what their gender is or sexual preference. It's kind of an incredibly enlightened way of approaching this mechanic. And the other thing I really appreciate about this game is that it lets you identify, of course, your gender presentation preference. It lets me be a they, them, or it lets me be a she, her with a masculine appearance. You know, it's really nice to have those kinds of options. And at any time in this game, you can change that, which is also incredible, speaking as someone who has, over time, changed my own gender presentation and sense of self in that way. But something, you know, those things really resonate. I think that they're very inclusive. Celia was just talking about inclusivity on a variety of fronts, and I think that this game does it right. But also the themes that this game explores are really resonant. As I mentioned, it's kind of a decolonial colonizing game, which is sounds like an oxymoron, but actually is incredibly complex. And it brings up a lot of things. We are sitting right now on unceded Lenape land, right? But yet we are here. And we have to confront that, and we have to understand it. It's a game for the Anthropocene. It really is about humans as an invasive species, which is what I think we are. And so all the best sci-fi actually is a reflection of our current world. And just like that, this game does the same. And look at Cal. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, I can't handle it. These characters are too cute. All right. I want to say something about the makers of this game. So Sarah Northway was the lead designer on this game. Sarah and Colin are both romantic partners. They're life partners, as well as they have Northway Games, which is their game company. They work together. You know, when I met them at the Game Developers Conference years ago, and they said that they were going to go live on a boat and make indie video games. And I said to myself, I am doing something wrong. Why don't I live on a boat and make indie video games? Maybe someday. But they truly are explorers at heart. They're the type of people who are not afraid to take risks. And I think that as designers, the best thing that we can do is to try to explore and experience as much of this world as we can, to listen to people that we meet, and to truly take in what it means to be present. And they do that. I think that they're incredible designers, and the team that they pulled together for this game, I think, embodies a lot of that same spirit. And so in many ways, I would say that as a somewhat of a member of the indie game community, I mean, it depends who you ask. My day job is as a university professor. And so I do have a paycheck and healthcare, which is really, I'm thankful for. We live in this sort of beautiful and terrifying world together as game creators. We have to learn from each other. This game has taught me a lot as a designer about how not only to craft a beautiful narrative, but to also make it inclusive and to embrace failure as a really critical and important component of the experience. I play a lot of games because I have to. This game I play because I love, and I'm gonna play again and again and again over the next several years, and I know that I'm gonna grow with it. So I'd highly recommend that you do the same. So I did promise, if you've played this game, I invite you to come up and just say a word about your experience of this game. Because the problem with indie games, come on up. You can do it. Or you can yell out what you felt when you played this game and finished this game. Excited. Cozy. Cozy. Cozy games, right? Like, what does it mean to have a game that actually sees you as a player, that actually responds to that actually, you feel part of that world? And excited too. It's an adventure game. It's an adventure game, cozy game. How on earth did they do this? They thread like multiple needles in the design of this game, which is incredibly admirable. And again, I think it really is about community. It's about the friends we make, not necessarily, the destination, but that journey. And I highly recommend you all play it, because as indie game designers, we do not have marketing budgets. Finji Games is the distributor. They're amazing, but they're also a husband and wife team. So we need to recognize these games. We need to talk about them, and we need to share them with each other. And I thank you.